Hey guys, I'm Saber Reese, and welcome to the 2017 First Robotics Preseason. We're excited to be back, and we know you'll want to stay tuned to what we have in store this year. You're watching the first video in our All-Star Series, where we give you an exclusive look into veteran teams in the East Tennessee region. So whether you're in a veteran team or a rookie team, stay tuned for insight that may help your team grow in the coming season. Kicking off the All-Star Series are the Hardin Valley Robotics, Team 3824. We're on location at their headquarters in Knoxville, Tennessee, and without further ado, let's go take a look.
I'm Alexis Longmire. I'm the executive captain of the Hardin Valley Robotics, Team 3824.
How long have you been involved with the team?
I joined my sophomore year, so this is only my third year on the team. Last year I was business team captain, and then I was able to try out for executive captain, and here I am. So this year I'm still trying to get into the hang of being in charge of more people, trying to integrate more of the sub-teams, because I know a lot of teams have the problem with integrating business team with the engineering side of robotics, so I've definitely been trying to do that. Previous years I've worked closely with business team, helping write business plans, setting up outreach events, STEM nights, things like that. So I've brought a little bit of that into this year, but mostly it's networking and talking with the rest of the team.
So you guys started your meeting with talk about the first LEGO League tournament that you've got coming up. What is LEGO League? First LEGO League?
Okay, so First LEGO League is for around elementary school kids. It's basically an introduction into robotics where you use Legos instead of obviously the type of things that FTC and FRC use. So every year we hold a qualifying tournament here at Hardin Valley. So this year we've got over 20 teams coming, and basically it's kind of like how FRC and FTC happens. You've got your pits, they have awards that you go and talk to, judges, and then you have the actual event in the gym area.
I noticed you guys also talked about something called the closet, and that's where you started. Can you elaborate?
So 7 years ago, we had a student who had heard about FIRST and was interested in, so they asked a teacher here at the school if she could possibly help set it up. We only had maybe 13 people on the team at that time, and the only space we had at the school was an upstairs closet. So that year we built our robot and did everything in that closet. I mean, we won Rookie All-Star, so we did go to Worlds that year, but yeah, that closet upstairs is basically where the robotics came into being.
And what would you say is a defining moment of success in your team's existence?
Well, I would say that we are a pretty successful team in terms of competition stuff. We've normally traveled to Worlds. It was only our second year that we didn't, which is always great. But I think that something that really hits home to us is our different outreach events. So we love traveling to elementary schools and STEM nights and doing parades and things. And in that way, you're able to really connect with the community and not only gain members, but also spread STEM awareness. So of course you'd want them to join first, but just getting people involved in STEM, whether it's a little girl who doesn't think that she can be an engineer or something like that, is always something that we're always super proud of. And that's one of the things that we always love to focus on our team, because you can go through all the competitions that you want, but what really matters is making sure that what FIRST stands for and what we are wanting to accomplish goes on past FRC and FTC in high school.
What would you say are some strengths and weaknesses of your team?
So some strengths, we definitely have a lot of people on our team. We have about 35 new members this year, and also we have had the privilege of working at the manufacturing demonstration facility of ORNL. So there we have great mentors who work there, are engineers, and have access to new and innovative technologies like 3D printing. So we all have all those things going for us. On the flip side, with the team being so big, it's hard to keep interest sometimes with newer members. I know that's a problem with a lot of teams, making sure that they're involved. The regular stereotype of robotics is quiet, reserved kids, and we do get a lot of those. So making sure that they can push past that and really get involved is something that we're always going for.
Each team has a forte. What would you say is yours?
I'd say one of the things that we've become most known for is pushing the boundaries technology-wise. Um, we've always done 3D printing, even from the first year. Part of the game was you had a mini robot that went up a pole, and that was entirely 3D printed. And from there, we've just kept on going with that technology. We've had robots that we have entirely 3D printed, and last year we used this newer technology, not necessarily to the science community, but to the first community, which was pultrusion. And so we integrated that into our robot last year and actually ended up naming him the Pultruder. And then with that, we've gotten some more sponsorships. It's been a great talking point with judges and at competitions and at outreach, and just getting more people involved to show them that when you come to robotics on our team, you have the chance to push beyond what you normally are when you're here on first. So I think that's one of our biggest things that we're known for.
What is your team's structure and why was this selected?
Okay, so our team, how it's structured is we have mentors working side by side with students. That's something that we really want to stress because the mentors obviously have a lot more knowledge and experience than us, but we want it to be more of a side by side relationship so we don't feel like the mentors are making all the decisions, but we're also not going into it blindly. And then with that, we have 2 main executive captains, and then from there we branch off into smaller sub-teams. And each of them has an older captain, so a person who's been on the team longer, and then a newer one to kind of help them ease into the position. That way they can possibly take over next year, and that way they have more of an understanding of how leadership roles differ from just being a member on the team and being able to be more efficient and successful in that position.
And what would you say are the pros and cons of the structure?
So some pros is we having all those different sub teams make sure that everything is getting done. There's not a lot of space for things to fall through the cracks. Everybody has a job, whether it's business or programming or safety or build or any of the other ones. But also to that, a con would be that separation can be a problem at times. So as I mentioned earlier, business team has always been more segmented from the rest of the team because obviously the other side team, they're all working together on the robot, while business is trying to get awards and like chairmans and interviews and outreach and stuff like that. So integrating the teams more, making sure you don't know that you know what's going on in your sub team, but also what's going on throughout the rest of the team is crucial. Whether it's at competition and judges come and ask you, or a sponsor happens to be there and they want to know what your business team is up to.
So what allowed your team to get off to such a successful start in 2011?
Definitely networking. That's what really boosted our team when we started to become so successful. So like I said, we started in a closet, so obviously we didn't have the perks of working at the MDF like we do now, but we had other teachers in the school, Mr. Chilson and Mrs. Love, who got really interested in it fast, and Mrs. Love's husband, Dr. Lonnie Love, works at ORNL, and then with that he was able to bring in these ideas, and we had a 3D printer. So that networking and the limited resources that we did have, we were able to put them to good use, definitely.
So how do you recruit?
So normally our team relies on outreach for recruitment. That's definitely a big thing. At the school we have things like Valley Palooza and 8th grade night, which basically a way for entering freshmen and other grade levels to come in and kind of check out, see what we're doing. We go to a lot of the athletic events. We go to all the home football games with our t-shirt cannon, the Nighthawk. So we get exposed there. Also basketball games, we try to go to those. But yeah, a lot of those outreach events, that's definitely the main way that we get it, and also word of mouth. Our team kicks off our build season first going to kickoff like usual, so going down to UT, seeing the video, and then there's always that hangout afterwards. But then after that, we all go straight to the MDF and we break out the rule book and we set down a basis rules, and we start asking questions and looking them up. And then we break off into smaller sections, and that's where ideas start happening. So people are already coming up with prototypes and things like that, and then we bring it all back together, and we start nitpicking each other's things. So right after kickoff is we start brainstorming. Like I've stated previously, we do a lot of community outreach, so within the community of Knoxville and East Tennessee, Hardin Valley area, but we also try to push it to national and global levels. So we've actually donated thousands of 3D printers all over the country. That's one big thing that we did. We've done this fundraiser called Glasses for Ghanas, where we work with the local optometrists to collect glasses and calculators to send over to Ghana in Africa. And then a huge thing that we actually started last year was our German exchange program. And so what that involves is that we've set up ties with a high school in Germany, and we have a group of them come over for 2 weeks during the Smoky Mountain Regional, so they can see, look into build season a bit, get involved with that. And then in the summer, they're still in school, and around June, we send our host families over to be hosted themselves, and they went over and started an FTC team there. So we're going to try and do that again this year, bring them back over, and just keep that process going, and hopefully be able to spread first to other countries.
How have you emphasized safety?
Oh, so safety is a huge aspect of our team. Implementing that safety culture and keeping it going is something that we pride ourselves in. So we have a safety sub-team and a captain. Every meeting, we have the safety captain come up, and they give a little blurb, basically, of like a different topic of that day. So in the winter, it could be about driving safely in bad weather, all the way back to making sure that you use the correct tools and keeping your shop area clean. So it's not even necessarily robotics related, it's just safety in general, so that you know what's going on. Like during Halloween time, we had a talk about making sure you don't like hit anything or anybody while people are out trick-or-treating. So just that, and then also working at a government facility, it's imperative that you follow certain safety procedures. So we have people there come in and talk to us on a regular basis, and we are required to do certain tool training through ORNLs to make sure that everybody knows what's happening. Otherwise, we don't get the privilege of working there.
You embodied gracious professionalism, and how have you emphasized this within your team?
So the way our team hopes to emphasize gracious professionalism even more so than usual is definitely that networking with other teams. So we try and host a lunch and learn on Saturdays during build seasons, where we invite other area robotics teams to come, and we sit down, have lunch, get together, chat, and then each team can come up, talk about what they've been up to and anything that they need help with, whether it's something that we can go over and help them with, or if they if they have problems with programming, or they need more of this certain type of material or something like that. That way everybody knows what everybody is up to. That way the teams aren't as isolated as possible. So that's one thing that we really stress. And then obviously during competitions, if we have people standing around, a great way to fix that is going over to other teams, whether it's teams that we know like Blount County and Farragut and Bearden and things like that, and just checking on them if they need help. And then also just teams around like your pit area. It's a great way to embody gracious professionalism and create those connections between teams all over the country and even the world.
So over these past few years, what has inspired you most about FIRST Robotics?
So my involvement with FIRST and this team, the thing that has influenced me the most is definitely the accepting aspect of it. One of the main reasons why I didn't join my freshman year is because I hate to say this, but I thought it was sort of out of my social thing, because I was always on athletics and things like that. And I was also really quiet, so I didn't know anybody on the team. But then sophomore year, somebody that I got to know finally convinced me. And what struck me was how much fun that I could actually have I've never wanted to be an engineer. I still don't want to be an engineer. I actually want to go into biology. So I always get asked why I would even join a robotics team, but being part of that tight-knit community, not just within your team, but all over your city or state, and even knowing people from like across the country. Like, it's hard to find that sort of networking power with another organization without it being FIRST. And that's something that I have always loved about FIRST, and one of the main things that I tell people when I try to get them to join any robotics team.
Okay, and just one final question,
Okay.
sort of a fun question. What song would you say defines your team?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the song that normally ends up being played at our meetings or something that people just tend to sing on the bus would be All Star. That definitely comes up a lot. And then business team loves I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan, and we may or may not have a music video.
It's been nice talking to
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, you too.
Saved by those who knew me. I was a full for cutting jam. This guy's got scared to death. Hope he doesn't see right through me. I really wish that I knew how to swim.